I was actually listening to that whole song because we only play obviously the first clip of it and the end clip when we do the outro.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the whole song. It's like a minute and 30 seconds, but the middle part is like kind of lit as
Kind
well.
of fire.
Yeah. So I was thinking to myself, we definitely need to use that for our future and upcoming content dropping next month.
Yeah, we can play the middle of it, switch it
Yeah,
up a
just
little
like
bit.
play the whole thing. Yeah.
I missed hearing the little bloop.
The bloop. Yeah. I've been making an actual literal list in my notes pad app on Apple of all the things I need to talk to you / ask you about today. That's where we're at. I have a list. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Well,
There's a lot going on in the
There's
world.
a lot going on. First and foremost, welcome back to the listeners, Done with Adulting Pod. How is your week going? It's Wednesday on the day we are recording this midweek.
What's that?
How's
your week? How's your week going?
It's also going all right. Yeah, nothing special. I was off on Monday, so that was nice. It was Terrence's birthday. We just, watched Beyonce 7 times in a row and
Well, yeah, you guys can't. Well, I mean, we can't do much because of COVID, and then he hurt himself, so you guys couldn't crutch around, right?
We were supposed to go to like a cabin and like hike and shit with the dog. But yeah, obviously we couldn't do that.
I could see him actually trying to hike and still crutch.
Do not get me started. He's trying to crutch and do a lot of things he shouldn't be doing. It's just very hard because Terrence is like
he's an active guy.
A busybody. Yeah, he loves to just like do shit and do chores and fucking do shit around the house, and he always like has a list of all the things he wants to do every day and he just checks them off. And so he's a little this is definitely a struggle.
Yeah. I mean, he ruptured his Achilles.
It was like a full tear.
Yeah, usually sidelines a lot of individuals, so it's got to be sidelined for a little bit.
I meant to ask you because you were away this weekend. Did you take your first drive in your new car? Not your first drive, but like
a long one, an extended drive.
Yeah, so it was like a cruise, like your first cruise.
Nah, I did not.
You didn't take your car?
No, because when we go to Rhode Island, we go to the beach, and when you go to the beach, you have sand on you, and when you have sand on you, you track that into your car. So no, we're not taking my new car there. So we took
Tell
hers.
all the listeners what kind of car you got, Jared.
I got a little Mercedes Benz a couple weeks ago.
We're leveling up. This is real. I mean, a Benz is like, to me, when I get a Benz, it's gonna be like, yeah, I've really leveled up adulting to another level because I'm out of the Ford Toyota range and I'm in the Benz Beamer range.
Yeah, so I always wanted, like growing up, I always wanted a Mercedes. I was like, I wouldn't call it my dream car, but it's something that I always wanted. I didn't think I would get it this soon, but so I had a lease previously, and when I went to talk to Honda about what I was going to do next, the numbers they were giving me were kind of crazy. And I'm like, why would I pay all this money for a Honda? I can go get what I actually really want. So, I mean, once you look at the numbers, it's really not that bad.
And good thing, because did you see that thing about Honda, all the recalls they have?
I did not see that.
I just heard it. My cousin was watching CNN downstairs, and I walked by actually it might not have been CNN, it could have been local news, but I walked by and they were saying how Honda has recalled like thousands and thousands of their cars, like 3 different models.
I was like to ask if it was like a certain model or.
Yeah, it was like the 2021 Odyssey, the 2021
so it's all the new cars?
Pilot, yeah. They had like, I guess they've been like getting different recalls back for like little things like backup camera and like shit that, won't necessarily kill you if you drive.
Yeah, or affect the car that much, but.
Yeah, but now I guess there was like more than 10 things that were being recalled, and they're just recalling like all the models and cars now. So
Like when that happens, do they give you an additional like a loaner car? Like what happens?
yeah, well, so with my Altima, my Nissan Altima, I they
Damn, I
had
remember you had an Altima.
yeah, that was the shit. That car was my shit, yo. I love that car. I was really sad when
Then you
I
have
let it
that.
go.
You had that when I had met you in Philly that one time. No.
Probably I got it in I think it was a 2013 or 14. Yeah, I don't know what year we did that, but it was definitely after college, and I would have definitely had that Altima. But yeah,
That's
I loved
wild.
that car. So that car had a transmission recall.
Oh, well, that's like a huge deal.
Yeah, so I brought like I didn't know about it until because I don't check my mail. I didn't know about it until I brought it for an oil change at the dealership. I always take my cars to the dealership, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this has a transmission recall. Like we're gonna do it immediately." So they fix it for you, like obviously for free. And then yeah, they say like, do you want? Depending on how long it's gonna take them to fix it, they'll give you like a loaner from the dealership.
Okay, so it's not like you just drop it off in the morning and then come pick it up at night. It could be longer depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is, yeah, and like how many guys they have, whatever, you know.
I've never thought
So
that far into like recalls and things like that because I've, knock on wood, never really had to get extended work done on a vehicle.
yeah,
And I definitely hope that that doesn't happen with the Mercedes because just like the maintenance on it is
yeah. I heard Mercedes
expensive.
maintenance is expensive. My uncle has a Mercedes. He has an SUV though. I don't actually remember which. It could be the same one as my mom's, but he like busted his windshield came off like
What?
not his windshield, the windshield wiper.
I was about to say. I was like, how did that just bust off?
The windshield wiper busted off, and it cost him like $300 to get a new windshield wiper at the Mercedes dealership.
Oh, that's super trash. I'm not gonna lie. So I actually drove it yesterday when the whole hurricane was supposed to be starting, but we really only got like
The windstorm,
yeah, we really got like 10 minutes of rain and like we got
some
like 3 minutes of wind. But anyway, so I put the wipers on and I'm like, yo, these drones look kind of frail.
wind.
And I literally thought to myself, like, what if it's like pouring one day terribly and I had to have them like cranked up? Like they look like they're just gonna fly off the windshield.
Yeah, his that's exactly what happened when he was driving to actually my wedding. It was like raining really hard and it
Oh,
just
this
like
is recent.
snapped out. Yeah, it was like last month, 2 months ago.
Oh yeah, because
So
you did
yeah,
say it was raining the day of.
it was raining every single day, Jared, until 30 minutes before.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so it snapped off. So he went to the dealership, and I remember it being like almost $300. And I was like, "What?" Because that's what I said to Terrence. Because Terrence wants, he doesn't have a car because he sold his car before we moved here, and because we didn't need two cars,
Yeah, he works from home
and he works
before
from home.
COVID. Yeah.
But now he wants, like, eventually, obviously, he does want his own car. We're not going to be working, whatever. So he's just sick of borrowing my car, I think. And my car's always dirty, and he can't stand driving in my car because it's always filled with freaking trash. But he wants like a Mercedes or a BMW. And now that you got one, like literally the day you got, so I've been saying to him, Jared, like, you don't need that. Like, what, like, we're obviously like we're gonna have
Yeah,
kids.
you're trying to
Like,
save money and
yeah, like not only that, it's just like there we have like all of our life to get that type of car. Whereas I'm like, when we have kids, like, are you gonna put them in your Beamer? I'm just wondering if you're saying yes to that, then fine. But like, you're gonna need another car besides mine to put these children
that's what
in.
yeah,
And
that's what
is
Emily
that what
was
Emily
saying.
said?
So
Yeah.
before like when she knew I was looking for a car, she was like, I only like want you to do two things. First, I want you to check the budget. I'm like, well, duh. Like, I'll make sure that I'm not gonna go broke buying something. I'm not an idiot. Number two, she's like, you got to make sure a car seat fits in there. I'm like, well, duh. Like every sedan can fit a car seat. Blah 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 blah. But it was
Yeah,
just
but
funny.
like,
I think it was just
no,
funny.
it is funny because I don't think you and Terrence truly understand how messy a child will make your
Yeah,
car.
yeah, and that's the thing. That's what it is because they throw up a lot too when they're in the cars and
They
whatnot. So
throw up like the backseat of my cousin's car. Like it's just like things you find down there. Like it's just a mess. So I told Terrence, I'm like, if you're okay with the kid trashing your designer car, then so be it. When Terrence saw you in going to look at your car at the dealership on Instagram, because prior to that, I had been harping that he didn't need a Mercedes or BMW when he decides to buy his car. He can get a nice car that's not either of those. His literal first statement was like, just like this in the stone. He's like, wow, did Jared get a Mercedes? I'm like, it appears to be that way, yes. And he's like, maybe I can get one now since Jared's doing it. Maybe he'll say yes. I'm like, he's like, because now he's like, you're probably going to think it's cool now that Jared's doing it. I'm like, no, I'm just saying, I never said you couldn't buy what you want. All I'm saying is when a child destroys the back seat,
you gotta be
don't
prepared for
say I
that.
didn't tell you.
Yeah, but no, once you like Emily was kind of the same way. She was like, "Oh, like you're kind of crazy, but okay." And then so let me tell the listeners a story.
Yes,
So when I
please.
so when I started to do this, I had a lease car, a leased Honda. I went to Honda. They gave me some numbers. I was either going to buy a 2020. No, I either was going to lease a 2020 or I was going to buy like a 2017, 2018 Accord. The numbers they gave me, they were kind of crazy. I went looking for a luxury car. I found like a super crazy deal in New York. Called them, talked some numbers. One day in the middle of the week, me and Emily just got up and drove to New York to get this car. Mind you, I called the guy. I said, if everything works out, I will be able to, like, both of these cars are available. They're at the shop. If everything goes right, I could drive this home today, right? He's like, yeah. We drive 3.5 hours, 3 hours down there.
He sold it.
No, number one, the Benz. So it was going to be either be a Benz or a BMW. The Benz wasn't there. He's like, oh, it's around the corner at the shop. I'm like, bro, you told me it was here. So I go look at the BMW. I like it. It has red interior, which is my favorite color.
Stop.
Yeah, it's my favorite color. And then another thing, Emily goes, she's like, I just feel like that's too flashy. Like, we don't need that right now. You should get something that like that when we're older and blah blah blah,
Yes.
because it's too flashy. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Mind you, two of my friends, they just got new cars, and they sent me a video. They sent us videos, and they had red interior, and that's what sold me. I was like, oh, we all can just have red interior together. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, my mind's made up. I want the BMW. Then he's like, do you want to go around the corner and see the Benz? Me, I'm like, no, I just want to get out of here because I'm tired. And you told me one thing, and I'm frustrated. She's like, yeah, we might as well go see it. So we hop in one of their cars. He drives around the corner. We see this car. We're like, yo, this car is super dope. It blows the BMW
Very.
out the water. Like Emily gets in, she's just sitting in it. She's like, oh my God. Like you could just see her eyes. She's like googly eyed. So then
Googly eye.
yada yada yada. They need to clean it and do a bunch of other crap. So he's like, it's not gonna be done today. Come back. I'm like, I gotta drive all the way
No.
home, come all the way back. So and then that's why I brought her so she could drive me back home.
Right.
Or drive my car that I drove down back home. So then we go back home the next day or 2 days after that. I'm like, okay, I want it. I plan on going to rent a car, getting a car, driving it down there, leaving it, and picking up my new car. So I get dropped off at the rent a car place, and I call my insurance. Like I'm in talks with my insurance company, making sure that I'll be able to drive everything back. They let me know that Massachusetts is the only state in the country that doesn't acknowledge out-of-state purchases. So I wouldn't just
What?
be able to buy
What do
the
you
car.
mean?
So I wouldn't be able to buy the car, get insurance, put on it right there, and then drive it back. I would have to have somebody from the dealership drive all the way to the state, go to the DMV to register the car because it has to be registered in Mass for the insurance to be valid. So I'm literally standing outside on the phone with the dealership and on the phone with my insurance company, waiting for me to pick up a car to drive down there. Long story short, the whole thing falls through. Now I'm like, oh, this is stupid. So I
Hold
look up.
on. Massachusetts, you were trying to register in Massachusetts, weren't you, just from the out of state dealership? And usually
Yes,
dealerships can do
but
that
yes, and they were going to register the car, but
in
it was
Massachusetts.
yeah, but they were going to register it in New York, and then I would have to do something when I got back, and then they would send me the plates in the mail.
Oh, but you're saying Massachusetts is the only state that doesn't let you do it that way.
Yeah, Massachusetts is supposedly the only state that doesn't acknowledge something like that. So they would have to have somebody from the dealership drive all the way up to Mass to register the car. And I'm like, number one, I don't even know if the DMV is open like that. Number
Right.
two, I wanted this car today. And now it's going to be a whole like week or two process. So I'm like, I scratched the deal. I go home. I took the day off. So now
You
I'm
were
just,
sure.
yeah, now I'm just sitting there and I'm like, all right, let me look at some cars up here. I found one in Natick, which is around the corner. Hopped in the car, went there, and then got sold.
Got it. Wow.
So it was like a long process, but when you guys go to look at cars, you're gonna understand that you can get these cars for a monthly payment that's gonna be very similar to what these other cars are.
Hell yeah, because when you told me what your monthly payment was, that was the same shit I'm paying for my Grand Cherokee.
Exactly. And I'm like, I might as well if I'm gonna spend that money, I might as well do it on something that I want. Even though there might be some kids in the future that rough
Fuck
it
it
up a
up.
little bit. Yeah. But trust me,
What?
I'm gonna have towels down. There's gonna
I
be
don't think
towels.
you understand.
I'm gonna have towels wrapped around. Kids just puking in the car. Nope, you can puke on that towel. Not on that leather.
You're in for a rude awakening, buddy.
I kind of do feel like that, but we could just take mom's car.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was like. This is no. We need two functional family cars. But that reminds me. Don't you have your 1 year wedding anniversary coming up?
We
August
do.
August 16th. It's like the only reason I'll never forget your wedding anniversary day is because it's also my niece's birthday.
Oh, the one in DMV.
Hmm.
She's so old now. It's crazy.
She's gonna be 10.
Yeah, but yeah, our anniversary's coming up. My friend is actually getting married the day after, so
Oh
we're
yeah,
gonna be
it's my friend too.
well, our friend is gonna our friend is getting married the day after, so we're gonna be down in Connecticut during it. So
Not me. I'm on the virtual list.
yeah. I
I feel no type of way about
was
it.
about to say the way you said that, I was like, "Oh, you might feel a certain type of way," but no,
I feel
you
no
understand
type
it
of
though.
way about it. As a COVID bride, I have full understanding of the hell they probably have to go through to pull this off. And I'm just happy that I get to watch it on at least a computer.
Oh,
Literally,
so
I'm like
there's like a
thrilled.
virtual link to it.
Well, yeah, and the email that she sent, it was like a really good email. It was really nice. They were just like, "We're so sorry." Terrence was laughing because the language was like, "We have to like rescind or retract your in-person invitation or something." Oh, so he's been like using that word ever since he read the email, and it was like, but we will provide a link to like we're gonna stream some part of it, and they said they would provide a link. So
Like the crazy thing is, I can definitely see some people being upset about that. And I think now I'm not talking about like any of our friends. I'm talking about like I'm pretty sure they probably had to send that to some family too. And I definitely could see family members being upset by that. Like it's their choice.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I had just sent the email they sent to my family members, it would be World War III.
Yeah,
So I
I
can't
think that's
imagine what
ridiculous.
they had to
Yeah,
go through.
I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like you see what's going on in the world right now, and obviously it's not up to them, and they have to make changes. So
Yeah.
it is
The
what it
funny
is.
thing though was that you texted our me and two other of our friends and was like, "Does anyone have any ideas for a first wedding anniversary present? I've never been married before."
So let me preface that with I just like growing up, I always thought like traditionally every couple did like gifts and things like that. But then all of your answers, so I sent it was three of them, all of their answers were like, "Oh, we don't do gifts." we don't do gifts. We do like blah 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 blah. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. And then it's funny because
Yeah.
you reply like, "Oh, I've never been married before either."
I literally responded, I was like, I've also never been married. But I felt like, I don't know, I feel like you guys have been together for so long. I guess I'm just wondering, like,
Well, yeah,
the
there's
difference.
times. I mean, there's definitely times when, like, for other things when we don't do gifts. Like even for
No, but I
Christmas.
mean, like, what, like, whatever your anniversary was before your wedding anniversary that you signified as being together, what, like, how are those presents different than a wedding anniversary present?
See, I think that it like once you're married and like it's an actual anniversary because I feel like the anniversaries for the non-married people are like it's just like taboo. Is that the word taboo or it's just like
Yeah,
not a
yeah,
fad, but yeah, it's taboo. Like they just do it
I,
because
yeah,
it's a marriage thing and they're not at that point yet, so they want to celebrate something, which is I think is fine because I did that my whole life. But
right.
I think
I
when you
think it's
get
personal
married, yeah,
preference.
when you get married, it's like it's escalated to a certain level. And I just
So
thought
did you?
everybody did gifts, so I was.
So did you think of something? Don't tell us
Well, no,
because
I
the way
definitely.
you're
I mean,
doing
I
it.
already when I asked you guys that, I already had
Some ideas.
things in mind, but I was like, well, this is your first wedding anniversary, so I thought what I had in mind wasn't good enough because
Aww,
I would do that for like a regular anniversary too, like before we were married. You get what I'm saying?
so adorable.
Then I was like, then I talked to you guys, and then I talked to her. I asked her sister and her brother-in-law. I'm like, do you guys even do gifts or? And everybody I asked, and she was like right there when she heard me. Like, yeah, people don't really do gifts like that.
More like experiences with our
Exactly.
response,
Yeah.
which is like COVID.
But
So
like you
fuck it.
said, it's a preference. So
Oh, I can't believe it's been a year. That was a lit wedding. That was like one of my. That was probably the best 2019 wedding.
hey, I
Now I
thought
can't remember what other ones. Oh no, there were some good 2019 weddings, but yours was super lit. Yours was lit because it was like it was the first like college sweetheart wedding that I've been to.
oh yeah, because all of our other
So
friends met somebody outside of school.
yeah, like all my other and all my most literally all my other friends besides you and Emily married someone. Yeah, not from Stonehill, except for the one on the 17th, but I'll be virtual. But still, like yours was the first wedding that I had been to that was like college sweethearts. So like all of M's like old teammates and friends, we were just like, I
Brought
was
you back
cool
to
with them.
Stonehill.
Yeah, like I was cool with them at school, but like didn't stay in touch with them. So it was just like it was just super lit, like super super lit. I can't believe it's been a year though. Was
Yeah,
it a quick year,
of course. Yeah, time flies.
even with COVID?
Yeah, even with COVID. I mean, I think in COVID times it's flying. Like I feel like every month is just zooming by.
Yeah,
We're already past half the year. We've been inside for most of it.
the majority. Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. With no end in
Um,
sight for us Americans.
Yeah, and honestly, 2020 just continues to get worse by the day. Just kidding.
Yeah. So I think like
I'm trying to not give 2020 the power of my negative energy because I'm really trying to turn it around. But for example, the recent explosion in Lebanon, I'm like,
every
yo,
single month it keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
this is crazy. And like, especially in Lebanon, who was already like obviously dealing with COVID like the rest of us, but like their like political climate and like economy is like not wasn't great before this and
Had some civil
relies
unrest.
yes, and their economy relies on that, the import of goods and whatever. So
I,
it's just so fucking sad.
yeah, it's super sad, and I think it's crazy. Like the first time I saw it, and when I talked to other people, like their first impression of it was like,
What the F was that?
yeah. When I talked to people about it, all of our first thoughts were that it was a terror attack, some sort of terrorist incident.
Yeah, when Terrence first watched it, he was like, his first reaction, like he screamed, and he was like,
I
"Did
could
they just
imagine him
get?"
going like, ah.
Yeah, he was like, "What the?" Basically, what? So the prime minister said that there was an explosion next to like a nitrate factory, and like tons of pounds of nitrate that were stored in there were not stored safely. Because you can see there was also like a firework factory right next to it. Like you can see those fireworks going off before the big explosion.
Yeah. So what I thought before they came out with the I guess what really happened, I saw that it was a boat that was at the dock and it had like tons and tons of fireworks on it,
Mm.
and then it caught fire, and then all the fireworks blew up. But it was more than that. No.
Yeah, it was I think the fireworks caused the nitrate. It was like 2,000 something tons of nitrate being stored in that building, which is like the main ingredient in bombs. And so I guess that had something to do with it. But honestly, like even watching like all the different angles of like other people's videos and stuff,
Bro,
and
it
like
was insane.
it was, I honestly like Terrence was like, I don't know what I would have done if like that. I was like, I probably would have just chalked it up to like, this is it. Like, this is it.
Of
This is the
course,
end
yeah.
of the
I mean, your
world.
heart's going to drop, and you're going to be in panic.
The sad thing is like they've already announced like thousands of injuries and like almost 100 deaths, but it's going to be so many more. Like it's going to take them so long to dig through all that.
That's crazy. So
It's so
unfortunate.
sad.
And there were, I think I saw
Um,
that it said there was like windows being broken, and there was also other damage that was 15 miles away from the explosion.
yeah,
Can you
that's
imagine
crazy.
that?
That's crazy. Like you think you're out, you think you're, I don't know. It just is like people think that because they don't live in the city of places, like in the city, that if
You're good,
anybody, yeah, like if anything happened in the city, you're good. Like,
but no.
no.
And then I mean, when glass breaks, it flies. Obviously, if you get hit in the wrong place with that
At that
at that
speed,
speed or that velocity, like it could be over for you.
KO. That is so effing sad. No, but I wanted to call out that I immediately like I felt like just like overwhelmed. Obviously, there isn't much we can physically do from here, but I did donate to the Lebanese Red Cross. If anyone's interested in also donating, I think the website is redcross.org.lb, like Lebanon LB.
Yeah, we'll make sure to post it.
So yeah, super freaking sad.
And then
One other
like
thing, yeah,
crazy, like another like weird thing about that is like you see that happen. I think it was like what early in the morning or maybe mid afternoon. And then when this hurricane sweeps through the eastern side of the states, you see people just complaining about being like without power.
I know, I
Like
know, I know, I
if
know,
you
I know.
just look at the
But
two
they're
situations, like come on, bro.
totally different situations. Although I will say that there were a lot of areas in like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut that got effed up by that storm.
Yeah, I think I know some people in Jersey. I think they said they're going to be out of power for like 48 hours.
Oh gosh, no! I saw people. There was a girl that I work with who is in Connecticut, and I saw her Instagram story. Like literally, she was like going through her town, and there's so many trees down. Like the freaking power line right in front of her house is taken down by a tree. There's a full tree on top of the power line. Like
That's
the
scary.
two poles are down. Yeah, which is like you've been to my house before.
Oh yeah,
My
this is
house
nothing but woods.
it's surrounded by trees, and there's this big tree I'm looking at right now at this window. If there was ever a storm and this tree came into the window,
Yeah,
I would not survive.
I always think about in my old apartment. I would always think about that because right now I don't think I really have any trees that would hit the house, but in my apartment previously I did. And big storms, I'm like, what if I'm just sleeping and a tree comes crashing down?
Scary. Other thing I want to talk to you about before we get to Beyonce, because I can't. Have you been reading all this news about Ellen?
So all I know about the Ellen situation is that there were some supposedly racial and sexual
Mm.
incidents that happened there. But I can't
Okay.
believe that. So I don't know exactly what happened. I didn't read into it, but I can't believe it. So I'm curious to hear exactly what happened from
Okay.
you.
From what I understand, several ex-employees of her show have come forward to bring to light hostile work environment, sexual misconduct in the work environment, and also, I guess, like racial discrimination. Um, what I didn't know was that employees actually started coming forward about this in like March, but like people, we just weren't really hearing about it. It was like one, two, da, da, da,
Right when
da.
the country shut down.
Yeah, it was like one or two or however many. I don't know. I'm making up a number, but
It wasn't.
now
Yeah,
it's
wasn't there like an aspect of it that they didn't feel safe also with COVID? Wasn't there like a COVID aspect?
uh oh, they didn't feel they never when COVID happened. No, like they assumed that they would be like guaranteed a job and like paid or whatever, but I guess that like wasn't the
That
case.
wasn't true.
Um, well, it's just like not how it played out. But now it's like more employees. It's like 40 something. And they're basically saying that they're executive producers of the show were, they use like fear and intimidation, and like some of them were like asking for sexual favors, and it was just like it's like a very hostile environment to work in.
So who was asking for sexual favors?
Executive producers,
Okay,
that these old white dudes.
got you.
And Ellen's response is, it's a huge, obviously, production to put on the show. I assumed that the people that I hired to do their job were doing it in the way that they knew that I thought, like they know that I have as a standard of being acceptable and like treating people the right way and da da da.
Yep.
She was like, obviously they were not, and that's my fault because I assumed that they were, and I didn't know this shit was going on, basically.
Okay.
So now, here's my and now
Hold on,
all this.
is that it?
Well, the last part is now all these celebrities are coming forward and saying like, we stand with you, Ellen, because people are really like I guess her ratings have she has lower ratings than like Maury right now or something, and Maury hasn't done better than her show since like 2013 or some shit. And part of that is due to I guess a part of that is due to COVID, and I guess a lot of shows decided to delay their premieres because now it's summer and people are trying to be outside since we've been inside for COVID this whole time. So
Yeah.
there's an aspect of daytime television as an industry that's affected by COVID. But specifically with Ellen, I guess her numbers are just like lower than they've ever been in the past like 10 years. And it's because like everybody canceling her, because we know how cancel culture is around these parts. And so now all these friends of celebrities, Kevin Hart's, Jennifer Aniston's of the world, are coming forward to say like, we know who you are, Ellen. We know like you would not accept this if you knew that this was happening. People are quick to like tear you down, but they want to be there when you're doing all that shit.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but I guess there's like a significant like more than 30 or 40 employees who are confirming that this stuff was happening.
Okay, so she doesn't own the show, does she?
I believe who's her net Warner brother? Maybe it's
I don't
Warner
know. I don't know
Brother?
what channel she comes on, but I mean, I don't know. There's
I
definitely
don't know why she wouldn't own the show.
because she's just the talent. It's just her name.
So
And that's what I think. I think she's just a talent. I don't honestly think that she hires these people. I think there's people who actually who own the show and come up with everything in the like behind the scenes, and they hire those folks. It's her name, so of course she's going to get the backlash behind it. I just don't understand what they would want her to do. Did the people who the allegations were against, did they get fired?
Not yet, but they are also putting out statements. Right now, there's an internal investigation going on. The people who are being accused of like asking for sexual favors and stuff, they are have some of them have come out and said like it's not true. They just are trying to see our downfall essentially. Um,
They're probably nasty individuals.
I mean, they definitely look creepy when I look at their pictures, but that is obviously an assumption. Like that doesn't mean they did it. So
I mean,
here's
even
my
that
thing.
many allegations towards you. I mean, even if you didn't do it, there's going to be some some consequences with that.
Okay, so NBC Universal owns the show. Which leads me to believe that number one, she may not have known of all the things that were going on, maybe. And oh, that was the other thing I wanted to add. Of all those employees that I talked about, the 30, 40 that have come out, some of them say she knew and turned a blind eye, and some of them believe she really had no idea. So there's no real uniform opinion on whether or not she knew it was happening. Now,
So I think that's a credit to her side.
yes. And but I mean, I always heard rumors that like Ellen wasn't actually nice in person.
But she
But
doesn't need to be nice.
right. But so there was an employee that said like realistically and honestly like Ellen does like she runs one of the if not the biggest daytime television show. In some sense of the word, she has to run a tight ship. Like, obviously, it's not roses and gummy bears all the time. Like, there's a job to be done, things need to get done. And so, I guess with her, like, direct people that she works with, she can be strict, tough, likes things done a certain way. That's not a bad thing, it's not a fault. It's just
That's what happens.
has,
Yeah.
it's the way it has to be. Um, but so my whole thing is like, nobody like me, you, other Ellen fans or viewers, none of us really know her. Like we think we know her because she gives people money and gifts all the time.
I mean,
But
it could
at the
all
end
be
of
an
the
act.
day, yeah, like at the end of the day, we have no way to say like, oh, Ellen would never do that. We do not know her personally.
Even the people you do know personally, me personally, I don't put anything past anybody.
Anybody. And
So
that's my other thing is like we know for a fact that the television industry, the culture of the television industry is effed
it's
up. Like
nasty.
we know that. Yeah, it's disgusting. And so to me, I feel like for her to say I had no idea this was happening seems like a little bit of a cop out because she's been in the television industry her whole life.
But
So I feel like
yeah, I get what you're saying.
how can you not know that that's happening? And then but on the flip side of that, I'm like Ellen is a victim of sexual abuse as well, or a survivor rather.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
so,
I don't know much
yeah.
about Ellen. I feel like to me, she just popped up out of nowhere and just all of a sudden this huge star.
Oh my God, no, Ellen has a whole history of like, you know what you should watch? You'll learn all about her. David Letterman, Netflix interview, the new show he did
Oh
after he
yeah,
retired.
yeah.
He interviews her in one of those episodes. And she talks about how, like, upcoming in her career, she got told no to a lot of opportunities because she was gay. And, like,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
then when she got famous, like, the gay community were like, you're our savior. And she was like, I never really signed up to be that, but it was just kind of like put
Yeah,
on
that's a lot of
me.
pressure.
And she does talk about in that interview with David Letterman that she's a survivor of sexual abuse. So to me, I'm like, if she did know that something was going on, she probably would have done something about it,
Well, yeah, you would assume that.
considering
Yeah,
she's a survivor.
you would assume that.
But
You never
at the
know.
same time, I don't know her personally, and people will do a lot of different things to keep their paychecks
Yeah,
coming
a
in
lot of
the way
people will
that they
say one thing and then do the others too. So another thing, like she's a huge star. I honestly think she probably shows up an hour before recording, goes to the dressing room, gets dressed, sees what she needs to do, does the show, and then bounces. I don't think she's putting like this much time and effort into the behind the scenes of it.
Yeah. I mean,
I think people are just giving her too much credit and thinking that she has like her hand in every aspect of the show. because I think she's a talent. She's like she's a top dog there. She probably shows up, gets dressed, does the show, and then leaves.
Yeah, I don't really know. All I know is that some shit happened on the Ellen show, and now people really like. I mean, I knew cancel culture was real before, but like in all the other instances we've talked about on this podcast, it was like blatant, disgusting, like R. Kelly's and
Oh yeah.
people like that. But like in this situation where we don't really know if
It's a lot of
Ellen was
skepticism. Yeah.
involved, there's a lot of skepticism.
People just want
Ellen
to jump the
wasn't.
gun. Oh my goodness, cancel this! Like that's the problem. Like that's the problem. That's the problem with the cancel culture. People just see something. They
Like,
see something. They see other people saying it and doing it, so they just want to jump on board without even knowing like the full details behind it.
and it is something to be considered. Like, even though we don't know Ellen personally, she does a lot of good shit for people. And so it's like, everybody wants tickets to the Ellen show during 12 days of giveaways so they can get free stuff. But now when Ellen needs you the most, like, everyone's
You're
canceled.
gone. I just think that a lot of people who do the canceling, they want these celebrities and these like high name or high profile individuals to be perfect, and that's not going to happen. You're not perfect yourself. You probably done something a little shady in your life.
But I also think that's why this has been so bad for her, because she's like the pedestal of like
she's been looked at as perfect.
Well, not even just looked at as perfect. Like her main message, literally at the end of every show that she says, her last sentence is "Be kind to others and like treat others the way you want to be treated." That's like her brand. That's essentially, and so it's like ironic, or maybe it's not ironic, that someone whose brand is "Be kind to others" is like, if you work for her, it's like a hostile work environment.
Yeah, I think people go in with like unrealistic ideas.
So honestly, I have no opinion about it. I'm just waiting to hear more information. If she knew about it, that's effed up. If she didn't know about it, everyone needs to like. Why aren't we like, everyone's talking about Ellen? Like, clearly they've said it's the executive producers that were doing effed up shit. What are their names?
Exactly.
Like,
Why aren't you focused on them and trying to get them out of
yeah.
there?
Exactly.
Let's say even if she did fire them when this came out, there would be a certain group of people that still would be up in arms, like, oh my God, how could this happen on your show? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, if you found out about it and you let them go right at that moment in time, like, it's over. Why are you still trying to blame her for something? I don't know.
Yeah.
People are crazy.
Let me tell you something about Black is King. Black is King, Beyonce's new visual project, has been on repeat in this household since the day it was released. I actually didn't watch it the day it came out at 3 a.m. like everybody else in the freaking world.
That was Friday or Saturday?
It came out Friday at midnight, Cali time, 3 a.m. here. So I didn't watch it until Saturday or Friday night. I can't remember. But when I did watch it, literally I watched it. Me and Terrence watched it together. It's great because all we do is watch TV now because he's injured. And immediately after it ended, we're both like jaw dropped in awe. And Terrence like looks at me. He's like, "Should we run that back?" I'm like, 100% we should run that back.
Yeah, it's like too deep. You got to watch it a lot so you actually can understand the entirety of it.
Bruh, I didn't really start to understand the entirety of it until the third or fourth time I watched it. I've now watched it 7 times. The first 2 times I cried. I literally shed tears the first 2 times I watched it at different parts.
What were those parts?
Brown Skin Girl sobbed. Joyously sobbed. Because to me, the whole project, and specifically Brown Skin Girl, the song, is just like such a beautiful display of Black and African culture that no one else is really doing for us right now, and in America at least.
To this extent as well.
Yes, and
with that much
like
notoriety.
No one's making a song like Brown Skin Girl that's like praising Black women.
And the darker shades of Black women as well.
Yes. So like the fact that there's just like a song that's literally just for us, that's just like saying you're beautiful. It actually, it straight up, I could cry right now just thinking about it. But Blue was in there, Kelly Rowland, who just
Bro,
she'll
every
make you cry off first glance.
every time
Like
I saw Blue, I was just like, oh, my
she
heart
was
was
lit.
smiling.
Blue got paid. Like she was in so many scenes, and every single scene she was good.
Yeah, and then I think in Brown Skin Girl at the end when she
Yeah.
has that little part, she's just like singing it. I'm like, oh my god.
That's probably the part that brought me to tears. So it was
I'm
that
not gonna
one.
lie, my eyes watered a little bit. I was
Ah!
a tear didn't
I
drop,
knew
but
it. I knew
oh,
it. I knew it. I knew it.
for anybody that knows me, you know how much I love Beyonce.
Yeah.
It's like probably unhealthy.
It's for sure unhealthy, but I mean, like, I feel like we all. I just don't even feel like we deserve Beyonce as a human race. Like we do. We have done nothing to deserve this woman.
She's amazing. I've only watched it once. I'm super slacking.
You're slacking. You know what my goal is? I want to watch it enough times so that when I listen to the album without the visuals, which I also do every day, if
It
we're
takes you
counting,
back to a certain point, and you
yeah,
know
like no,
exactly.
yeah, not even takes me back. I want to be able to see in my mind every visual scene on replay in my head when I'm listening to the album in the
Oh,
car.
jeez, that's super extreme. Is there a
That's my
way for you
goal.
to listen to the album without the visual?
It's on Apple Music.
It's not on Spotify.
Yeah, they don't fuck with Spotify.
Zam. I
Yeah,
was
no.
looking at because so when it dropped, I was in Rhode Island and I was with family. So I'm like, I'm not going to watch it now because I need to focus. And there's too many people around. I'm not going to be able to focus and actually enjoy it. So then I got home Monday. I got home Tuesday. Tuesday night. It was a long weekend, so we were tired. Tuesday night, I'm like, she's like, "Do you want to watch it?" Emily's like, "Let's watch it." I'm like, I really want to, but I'm kind of tired right now, and I want to be able to focus and enjoy it. And I don't think I'm going to because I'm like exhausted and tired. And she's like, "You can't be serious." I'm like, "No, I'm not. Let's watch it."
So you watched it?
About the
No,
third.
you didn't watch it till Tuesday.
Well, yeah, this is Tuesday.
Oh, I thought you said Sunday.
So we're probably about the third song in. She's laying down on me. I can't see her eyes. I look at her. I'm like, "Yo, she looks like she's sleeping." But then I'm like, "Nah, there's no way she could be sleeping." Like I said, I was tired. She didn't say she was tired. She said she wanted to watch it. But I'm looking at her position. I'm like, she looks like she's asleep. So then maybe two more songs come on, and then she moves and wakes herself up. And she's like, "Oh, I just had my eyes shut for a little bit." I was like, "Yo, were you sleeping?" And then we keep watching it, and then like two songs later, she's just totally knocked out and sleeps for the rest of the movie. And I'm like,
Emily Gaines.
I was like, I can't believe this. But we already knew we were going to go into it, watching it multiple times more after
Yeah,
that.
watch it
So
again. What was your favorite part?
I liked the fast song when she was in the leopard print on the car. That was
Yes,
leopard as well.
already.
I was like, yo, that song is fire.
Already when he's like, "You're the king already,"
I
and
don't
you
know.
already
I
know
don't
it.
know. I don't know the names of the songs. I don't know.
When she's dancing with the guy painted in blue, you mean?
I don't remember that part. When she was in leopard, I don't know. She's on the
Well, she
leopard
was in
car.
Leopard multiple times. Oh,
She's
the
on the
leopard
leopard
car.
car.
Was that Mood Forever?
Bro, I don't know the song. I literally just watched it once.
You're a sorry excuse for a fan.
Bro, I know. I told you I was tired. I was out of the state.
This is so annoying. Listeners, if anybody has watched it more than Jared and can provide me with actual stimulating discussion about Black is King, please hit me in the DMs because
Hold on.
I have thoughts.
So was the young black kid who
Simba.
that wasn't Jay-Z at all?
What do you mean it wasn't Jay-Z? You mean like
Like in the beginning when they started showing him and then he was in other scenes and then all of a sudden they flashed to Jay-Z. I'm like, is that supposed to be like, was it like a metaphor
I think the
for
whole thing is a metaphor to the Lion King. It's the Lion King soundtrack.
Well, yeah, I agree with that as well.
So I think that little kid was supposed to be like the Simba of her shit.
Uh,
But I don't know. It could be some connections to her. Oh, you know what one of my cousins said? She's like, I mean, she loves Jay-Z and Beyonce too, but she's very religious. And she said that there was a lot of demonic
Oh my
symbols.
god, here we go with this again. Every time like somebody does something, they want to come out with, "Oh, that was demonic. That was demonic." Every time Jay-Z and Beyonce do anything, that's what they want to talk about. What
Hey,
what is like specific part, or did she not
I
have
don't
any?
know. She just texted. I just texted her and said, "How did you like it?" And she said it was good. There's some demonic symbols in it, but it was very good. And I just appreciated how many black people there were in it. Literally, no white people. No shade to white people, but we just don't
There
see
actually,
projects like that.
yeah, there was actually some backlash because they said that the white people that were showed were kind of like her servers and her
Yeah,
butlers.
that's hilarious. That was my favorite part.
And I'm like, if you look at the irony in that,
That's that's like these are the reasons why I loved it so much because of little shit like that. When I saw that the white people were her maids and her,
there's a lot of
I was like,
small, yeah,
"This is lit."
there's a lot of small pieces though that you have to like actually focus on for you to understand. Like, I think
Yeah,
after I watch it, I'm still gonna have to read like some of the think pieces on it, or
yeah,
watch
yeah,
some of like the YouTube conspiracies to actually
yeah.
catch some of it.
I know. I haven't actually read any thought, you know, provoking articles at all or any reviews on like what they people think the meaning is. I've been trying to just form my own, which is why I've watched it 7 times, and I'm pretty close. Like
Maybe
at
three
this
more.
point, yeah, I think if I watch it like one or two more times, I'll be able to like really pick out not all of them, because there's also a ton of like references to African culture that
You don't
that
even
I'm
know
not
about.
even like, yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
about it. So that I'll probably have to look that stuff up. But honestly, it's just, you remember when she dropped the surprise self-titled album back in college with the visuals?
yeah, I remember that. I
And
will
it
never
was a
forget that day.
it was a full visual album. I remember being in my dorm and like like as soon as it dropped at midnight, I was like heard of it on social media and watched the whole thing through and was just like, it's literally like watching a movie. Like you could get your popcorn out and be completely entertained. Not only are you entertained, you're lit because the songs are so good.
Yeah, it's a whole mood.
It's a whole mood. I'm about to watch it again today. I
Hold
swear
on,
I will.
say what you said before we started recording though about this. Do
What
you
did I say?
remember? It's the greatest.
The greatest visual masterpiece to ever exist.
Yeah, that's what you said. Something to that extent.
It is. I've honestly never seen anything like it. I'm in awe every time I watch it. I find something new. The looks, the outfits. Think about all the things that go into that. How intentional she is with everything she does. The outfit choices. There had to be hundreds of different outfits in that. Hundreds, hundred.
Yeah, every single detail.
One of my friends tweeted that he estimates there were 397 looks, outfit looks in this thing.
That's probably not. That's probably a low number.
And she picked, like, she's the director, the executive producer, like she hand picks all this shit out. The choreo, like, honestly, and oh, this is uh probably not that appropriate to be commenting on women's bodies, but
She looks
I
great.
don't know. I really love thick Beyonce. Like I love her. Like pre obviously 20s, pre-baby, skinny Beyonce, we love her too. Like, Crazy in Love, that video is iconic. But thick Beyonce?
Thicker than a Snicker.
Look, thick Beyonce is really, I mean,
She's
I
amazing.
I can't even articulate. Clearly, I'm just stuttering like an idiot.
She's amazing. I can't wait to watch it again. She is a genius.
I'm gonna need you to watch it again, please, because I
I'm gonna
need
watch it a
more.
lot more times.
Whew. Well, shout out to Beyonce. Shout out to Black is King. Shout out to The Lion King. Great movie. Um, and I feel like, oh man, I don't know if you saw my Instagram story today, Jared, but I mentioned on my Instagram story that a lot of exciting things are happening with the podcast, but I can't announce them because I can't.
Yeah, we're
And
not ready yet, but it's coming soon.
it's not ready, but I'm so excited it's coming soon. And every time I record, I want to say it, but we can't. But it's just, all you need to know is that the 1 year anniversary of Done with Adulting podcast is coming up.
Oh snap! That's wild.
That's what we're doing this all for, Jared.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying it's crazy how quick it's been. Life is literally like a sprint. It's wild.
A sprint. So, anyways, we got some good shiz coming for the 1 year anniversary. So, thank you to everybody who has listened for the past year almost.
I
Keep
hope you
spreading
guys
the
just F
word.
with it like we F with it. So we
Keep
shall
spreading
see.
the word because even our new listeners are gonna want to see what we have coming for y'all. Have you ever went back and listened to like the first 3 episodes? It's cringe.
Yeah, this the sound quality.
Not just the sound quality, like what were we even saying?
I mean, every time I hear my voice, I kind of cringe.
Yeah,
So that's like every episode, every week, I do a little bit of
me
that.
too. Also, every day on Instagram stories. Okay, that just applies to me, not you. All right. It's been a minute. So if you like this episode and this podcast, please subscribe, rate, review, and tell a friend.
Yes, follow us on the socials. Done with Adulting Pod on Instagram. Done WTH on Twitter. Engage with us. Share us. We appreciate you all.
All right, Jared. Well, I know your mom's coming this weekend, so have fun. Tell her I said hi. I know you're probably excited to see her.
I will. Should be a fun weekend, hopefully.
Should be a fun weekend. What is she staying till Sunday or Monday?
She comes tomorrow, which is Thursday. She leaves Monday.
Aw, don't you just love seeing your mom? That's how I used to feel.
I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her since the wedding.
I was
so
gonna
it's
ask
been,
if you haven't seen her since the wedding.
yeah, I haven't seen her since the
Oh
wedding.
my gosh, you might cry. I would cry.
Yeah. COVID is wild.
That's nice. Well, have fun, and I'll be texting you.